Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and I figured I'd get the last 3 videos for In Another World of My Smartphone done, 10 through 12. So this is going to be my review for that show for 10 through 12. So essentially, with this video, I will be done with In Another World of My Smartphone until Season 2 comes out. Whenever it comes out. Actually, let me look that up real quick while I'm talking. This episode has a beach episode. Dang it, I mistyped. And obviously all the girls are in swimsuits. There we go. Okay, the next season will apparently be in 2022. Possibly. It's likely to premiere sometime around early to mid 2022, which is next year. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff we can look forward to for next year. Dr. Stone Season 3, possibly In Another World of My Smartphone, possibly Overlord 4, maybe. Maybe. That's a very low maybe on that one, because it might be 2023 when that one comes out, maybe. Because it just got announced, so I highly doubt they've got a solid release date yet. So it'll probably be a couple of years or more before that one comes out, but when it does, you can bet your behind I will be doing reactions to it. Heck, as soon as I got done with Overlord 1, I immediately started on Overlord 2, and then same goes for 3. So, yeah, you can bet your bottom I will start 4. Anyway, all the girls are in swimsuits. Some of them are one pieces, like the little girls, like Renee and Sue and Charlotte, surprisingly enough. Excuse me. And I think the rest of them are in bikinis. Which, he's interested in, obviously, but then again, he's a guy, he's a teenage guy, so he is going to be interested in the opposite sex, though, considering this is a harem, he can't just focus on one girl, obviously. And I obviously saw that, Cecilia, I think is what her name was, whatever it is, his fiancé, if you want to call her that, is obviously starting to gain a chest a little bit, even though she's only 12, which it makes sense considering a girl could start developing her adult body as early as like 11 or 12. I mean, heck, I started my female time monthly thing back in middle school, so it makes sense. And to be completely honest, I've always had a big chest, even in high school, but I think it's gotten a little bit bigger just because I've gained weight. So hopefully once I lose weight, I'll get back to my whatever my proper size was, because all I know is that it was like probably either a D or a double D. I can't remember. But yeah, I did always have a big chest. Just not like big, like a what was it, a G or an H or something like that? I can't even remember what the biggest size is that you can have for a chest. Anyway, like I said, Toya's getting in a little awkward situations because the girls won't leave him alone. And even Lean is in a bikini, but she has an umbrella to keep the sun off her because apparently she'll get sunburned if she doesn't. Anyway, he goes to try and find the ruins while everybody else is out having fun. He sees them, but he doesn't get a chance to go inside because, well, lack of air. So, they decide to try and figure out how he can function underwater, be able to breathe. And apparently there's a couple of spells, but Lee never bothered to learn them. Kohaku, however, comes up with an idea that he knows another entity that could help them with their problem, the Black Monarch, essentially the opposite of his White Monarch. So, thankfully they are able to summon them. Yes, I said them. Because there's two entities to the Black Monarch. And normally you can't really pick which creature you summon, through that spell. But with Kohaku using its I think, wait, is Kohaku a boy or a girl? I thought someone said it was a girl in the show, but I don't know anymore. Anyway, Kohaku adds its energy to the spell, which causes, the Black Monarch to appear. And it turns out it is a turtle with a snake living alongside it, essentially. Like, the snake is wrapped around the turtle shell. And they try to get it to form a pact with him. And they offer a duel so that if he can survive until sunset, with his limbs intact and everything, then they will agree to form a pact. Let me give you a chance to guess as to what he does to win this. Because it technically only needs one spell. You guessed slip. You are correct. 10 billion points for you. Yeah. He uses slip, and then he uses the gun and casts program on the bullet to continually cast slip. That way he doesn't have to. And, well, obviously the poor creatures are dizzy from slip, and they offer to God dang offer to be his pack, or be his familiar. So their names are what? I can't remember the other one, but the turtle was Sango. And they form a pact, and they become little, they become tiny, it's cute. And at this point, he goes to try and spend some time with the girls, because, he's kind of been doing this the entire time. And I'm surprised, if I am being completely honest, I am surprised that none of the girls, especially the girls with magic, even sensed that going on. Or even saw something going on over there. I mean, they weren't that far from the girls, so how did they not notice? Or were they just having too much fun to not notice? Anyway. Oh my god. Why? Why can't I not just not have to worry about this? I am just currently waiting for my mom to hurry up and get done with my nephews and getting food for my sister at the store, because she's going to have them for the next week or so. And get me my dang Subway, because I asked her to get me a Subway sandwich before she came home, so that way I'd have lunch and dinner set up. I'm hungry. The rest of this drink is the only thing I had left, and that was probably that much left. Anyway, they head down to the ruins. Oh wait, no, he goes to spend time with the girls, and they end up giving him a loaded question. Whose swimsuit do you like the most? And that is a loaded question, because no matter which answer he gives, someone's going to be upset. He could have gone with the generic answer, I liked all your swimsuits, but then they're going to question him saying, that's not true, you had to have liked somebody's better. So he ended up going with the safe choice of Renee and Sue, but then that gives them the impression that he is into little girls, which obviously is not the case. Thankfully, what was her name? Shoot, I don't even remember anymore. His fiance essentially knows, that he's not like that, because she has those mystic eyes of hers that can see into a person's true character, obviously. And she would have, if she had seen that from the start, she wouldn't have been so eager to go after him, marriage-wise. In fact, I think she would have done the opposite. She probably would have slapped him and not want anything to do with him, if that had been the case. Which I would not blame her in the slightest if she did, if that was the case, obviously. Anyway, they get down there, and he puts some magic into the magic circle that they found, and they end up getting transported to a floating garden in the sky. God only knows how far away. And he ends up running into what he thought was a person. Turns out the person's naked from essentially no underwear, essentially. No underwear, and I think no shorts and pants, whatever. Though it looks like a dress she's wearing. I don't know. Anyway, apparently she did that so that way she can root out anybody who is not worthy of being in the garden. If somebody was acting pervy towards her, she'd expel them from the garden. So apparently Toya is worthy of being there. So he ends up bringing the others there, and turns out that this garden is now his because, well, he was the first person to find it after God only knows how long. And the original programmer of her, she's an AI apparently, I think. I'm assuming came from his world. I could be wrong, or she was one of the ancient people that were living long ago that were very technologically advanced. But apparently, this lady can see into the future. Anyway, in order to be able to make the garden officially, his ownership-wise, the AI had to take a DNA sample of his. You would probably think, oh, take a hair or skin fragment or something like that. No, she has to go with a kiss, a tongue kiss, to get the DNA. Like, no, just take a hair sample. That has DNA in it. Anyway, all the girls obviously get upset because that was officially Toya's first kiss, as far as we know. Shoot, what was her name? The sister with the larger chest. I can't remember their names for the life of me. I cannot remember their names. That's what happens when there's a show with a lot of characters in it. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna forget somebody. In this case, I forgot most of them. Oh boy. But then again, I hadn't touched this show in a while, so yeah. Anyway, she goes over to him and essentially confesses that she loves him and gives him a kiss. Obviously, Toya is ill-prepared for this. And at this point, everybody is back home after that whole little adventure at the beach and the garden. And we find out that Cecile, whatever her name is, ended up talking to the girls beforehand about possibly sharing Toya and them all being his wives. And apparently she's okay with this, as long as Toya is happy. Huh. It's not that often you find somebody who would be happy to be in that kind of position and have to share her husband. Huh. Very mature. And a little, I would say a little strange, because that's not really, I guess it's the norm in that sort of show, but still, that coming from a 12-year-old. But yeah, Toya ends up giving her a kiss, and they end up confessing. He ends up essentially, confessing that he wouldn't mind, having multiple wives, essentially. And he ends up fighting against her sister and the other girl, and ends up getting himself knocked out because he was too soft and wouldn't deal a final blow, in a way. Because he had her in a position where he could, and yet he didn't take the shot. Even though, obviously it's a rubber bullet, but still. And because of this, they now get to essentially, all of them want to be his wives at this point. And Toya, after doing a lot of thinking on this, ends up being okay with this, but obviously it's not going to happen anytime soon because they're still young. Especially Cecile. So yeah, they decide to wait on that for a while and make sure, that they're still okay with this in like 3 or 4 years' time or whatever. Which makes sense because that could change things. Turns out that he ends up with, 9 wives? So they're already the sisters, the Oriental-looking girl, his fiance. That's 4. So there's 5 of the girls out there they have not met yet. Anyway, that is the end of Season 1, everybody. We are going to be waiting for Season 2, and whenever it shows up, I will be watching it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this show, because I certainly did. I always enjoy a good isekai. You can't blame me on that one. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.